right, good morning everybody, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are, and welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin real quick. There's not a whole lot cooking out there inside of the FX world or even in cryptos. Yesterday we broke out and it was a legit breakout. We closed above resistance right there and it was nice. So yesterday around 2 o'clock p.m. Or maybe 1 o'clock it was, where Bitcoin had pulled back and then it had created an intraday support. I was waiting for it to pull back and test that price again, 23,595 or 23,600, and it did not. So once it tested it, I was waiting for this candle to come back down, check it again, and then go up. So I was unable to take a bullish entry there. It was a retest of about the midpoint of yesterday's range. We discussed that during the live stream, that if that were to occur after the live stream, then that's what I would be looking for. Well, anyways, that ended up happening, but without me, I do not and will not ever take a trade based on, just once it gets there, I need to see a retest usually. And usually you will get them. So what do we do now? Well, even though yesterday was a nice bullish day, you can see that we're seeing bullish continuation now. The thing that has me just a slight bit concerned as far as for bullish continuation is that swing high. You can see how we've liquidated it. If we go back into the intraday time frame, you're going to see that is essentially what is kind of, for now, holding price back as a little bit of resistance. Let's go check out where our point of control is. You can see how the point of control, lots and lots of volume being thrown down up here. I don't know if people are buying it. It's more than likely profit taking. So we're going to continue to watch 24,666 as a potential short trade, and we're only going to be looking for a 2-to-1 risk to reward, and then we were going to be getting out of it simply because this thing is bullish, right? And it was bullish yesterday, and we're looking for bullish continuation. As far as where are we looking for support to hold, well, since we didn't retest that level, I would assume that's probably where I would want to see price get back to. If it could, it might not. You got daily resistance right there. So for now, if you were to take a short trade, you would have to set that take profit around 24,445, and that would look something like this. Let me get this part over here. I would want to take that trade as close to that level as possible, and then see if you can get a stop down there. So that's like a 3-to-1 risk to reward right there, if and only if that area holds. Remember, this thing is bullish, so trying to take a short when something is bullish usually does not work out good. All right? So we'll just keep an eye on it and see what it does, see if it has trouble getting over that price. I can't take the trade anywhere else but there. So we'll see what happens here in a second. Let me get something going on over here. Damn it. The daily range is different on Bitget. So it's kind of difficult, but I can see a swing high there. So I'm going to use, put a line right there on that and see what it looks like. All right, so yeah, there it is. We got it. All right, so yeah, it's a different price on Bitget. It's 24,685. Not much difference, just about $30 there. But there is a ton of volume going on right here, right now. So we're going to just keep an eye on it real close and see what happens. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. There wasn't a whole lot to do as far as look for trades. I will put a alert here. It's going to take a minute to get there. Yeah, my internet is not doing good today either. A couple assets that we were kind of looking at for potential trades is Euro Pound. Let's go over here to the date. You can see that you are struggling at daily resistance right now. You are at the 50 right now. You've been here all week. This is another one of those things like, is it going to break out or is it not? Our 200 simple and our 21 exponential are both right through the middle of those piano keys. So we're going to see what happens here on this one. I don't know if I want to take the short, but you can see that it is definitely holding there. Also, this is not only daily resistance, it also happens to be the weekly open. Today is Thursday, and as long as it's under that. All right, let me go back over to Bitcoin as it just hit that price again. So we just tagged it right there is the price. So that's probably the area that I would be looking for shorts if I wanted to short it. And remember, you're only looking for the support on the hourly to be your profit target. So we're going to set that up. Finding out where to stick a stop is going to be difficult. All right, so let me get back over to the hourly real quick. All right, so that's that. Just like that. So the stop, I mean, you would want to get it up over that if you could, but that is definitely going to mess up the risk to reward. Remember, it's bullish, so trying to get short, not a great idea. Definitely against the trend. If you are, it's just for a pullback, right? You're not looking for a fresh low of the day, which is right there. That's going to be your low of day. 23.9, what is it? 23.900-ish, give or take. We just got a fresh new hourly candle, and you are on the advance. So be very, very careful. Make sure your risk is mitigated if you do want to take that short. It's not something I advise. You know what I mean? Because, yeah. A fresh high of day was made at the London session. So you had a big, strong push up. That's when you liquidated. And then you had a pullback. So your London session set in a high of day, and then you pulled back. But notice how your second bounce was higher, and now you're looking like you're trying to liquidate the London session. The London session open. So keep an eye on it, if you will. Let's get rid of these moving averages. They've done their jobs. We only care about them on the daily time frame. Excuse me. All right. So I want to see a bearish reaction here, right? I can't take it as long as I'm seeing bullish price action like this. I would love to see something like that, and then we could look for the trade coming back up, right? Because usually you're going to get if you do get a bearish reaction, you're probably going to get a bounce on the next 5-minute candle. That bounce would be the time to take the short entry. It's just, we've already received a fresh high of the day and a bearish reaction from it, and then that has been bought back up. So, we got to wait for the bearish reaction before we can do anything. The other asset we were looking at for short trades was euro yen, and that trade already took off. It took off without me. So right here, I was looking for a pullback on this candle. Once we took out this candle and the next candle's low, I was wanting to see it pull back into the supply candle. That was going to be my entry. I had my stop already situated up there. It was a limit order. And then my take profit was down here at this support. So, if I would have got filled or triggered on the pullback, that would have been a successful trade. It just did not pull back. Yen is strong today. Let me pull up FinViz. Let's go over here. Just bear with me. Internet is just very slow this morning. All right, so you can see the strongest asset on the day for FX is going to be NZD, and your weakest asset is CAD. So another thing we were looking at was going to be Euro CAD. You can see that it didn't really give us a pullback. I was looking for a pullback, a little bit lower. We just didn't get it. So probably not going to get a trade on FX. But we'll keep our eyes peeled. Euro USD is still cooking to the upside. It's up almost 40%, or 0.40%, 0.35%. We are getting a slightly bearish reaction on the Bitcoin right now. So let's go over here and look. 5-minute time frame. It's not a big bearish reaction yet. So let's see what it does here. Entry is going to be as close to 24,666 as possible. By waiting for the bearish reaction, essentially what I'm doing is that's giving the stop run a time to take place. So here's the thing, right? If I want to take a short against the trend, I must see that bearish reaction. Let whatever stop runs want to take place first. Then look for the entry, as that will significantly increase the chance of the trade working out. That is, if you're going to be right on direction, right? It is 8:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we're getting a little bit late in the tooth for taking new entries. But as long as we're trading at the high of the day like this, and as long as the volume profile is showing us that there's a lot of volume being thrown down up here, that gives us that signal that we might want to just keep an eye on it. Remember, I am long, so I'm not long, but I have a bullish bias on this. So taking a short trade, it is just simply to, make a trade for the day. That's literally it. And as you can see, it's still not wanting to show me that weakness. Good day, Mr. Vermillion. Let me go up here and see if I've missed anything. Good morning, good mornings, a lot of good mornings. Good morning to all of you. All right. Getting FOMO feels like a top. Yeah. Why does it feel like a top? Right? Because yesterday it was bullish. Because today it was bullish. Is that why it feels like a top? And because you have FOMO, so it feels like a top. Listen, I don't want to even take the short trade. I wanted to get long. I wanted the price action to be down at support when we did the live stream, so that way we could take a trade in the right direction. But you don't always get what you want. And forcing the trades is not really a good thing to do either, right? Never a good thing to do. If there's no trade, there's just no trade. And there is opportunities inside of this market every single day. So get used to that. Let the FOMO go away, because that is the worst thing that can happen to new traders. They just want to trade, got to trade, because they want to make money. And, it's not that simple. Up 24% for my 23,500 entry yesterday. Good job, Drew. Fantastic stuff. 24%. You're on the right side of the trade, right? Good job. Love checking in from sunny southwestern Ireland today. Nice. Sunny. That's, that probably doesn't happen very often, does it? On BTC, I'm watching the close of 27 December 2020 and the low of 12 May 22 to be the zone for the next top. All right, so let me see if I can even get the daily to pull up. You said specifically to December 27th, 2020. So is that one? Let me see here. Close of December 27. So you're looking at this over here. This one. Right there. And that's the close. And then you're looking at the low of 24 January. To be your next zone. So up there. So something like that. I'll get over there. Yeah, it's a big zone. There is a gap up here on CMEs at $29,000. $29,000 also happens to be the yearly supply. Right there, boom. See how that yearly supply is right there at 28,990. And if we go back over here you're going to see, if we get off that, let's go to the daily. That first gap up in there, you see that price? The top of the gap is 28,770. So literally up there is a good spot, to target for longs. If we get another shot at this, if we get a support check, you'd be targeting $28,000. Once you get up there, you will have filled that gap, and you'll probably see new short traders jump on it up there. It's a good price to watch. That yearly level is going to be played around for a long time, more than likely. So we're not genuinely not giving too much worries about it, but we can ride it up to there at least. Yeah, it looks like it wants to continue to go higher. A wick up there, and then a bearish reaction would be fantastic, as that would be the stop run, because that is your high of day. Right? So any short traders that got short during the London session, their stop's probably going to be right there above that wick. And them looking at price action right now, it's probably got them on edge. Right? So we're still waiting, still watching. Throw me a wick up above 24,760 and then drop back down below 24,666. That'll make the spread or the stop loss kind of wide, but it still will be close to a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Back down there to that hourly support. Good morning, Mr. Heath. Good morning, Ahmad. Yeah, your question, I didn't get the alert till this morning on that question and it said that you asked it 2 weeks ago on that video, that Bitget video. That just means, the best price possible, essentially. Your question. Hey, Heath, basically I'm fat, says Wes. Wes, we know, buddy. We know. You're supposed to run every morning. Wes is in the process of moving, so it is nice that he is able to be here with us this morning. Bullish or bearish today? I'm bullish. That's my only bias. I will take a short trade if I get what I want to see happen. And it's just a pullback trade, so it's literally just fading the move like a pullback. All right. Obviously, a lot of people are jumping in short right here because it is the high of the day, and like the person said in the beginning of the video or up at the top of the comments that they have FOMO. Well, so does everybody else, because everybody else missed the move yesterday. And now they got to try to make money somehow, or they want to try to make money. So he's not the only one that's feeling FOMO up here. I will absolutely leave it alone if I don't see what I want to see. All right. It just doesn't make for a very good live stream if you don't do anything. So, but not always is there a trade to take. So I'm going to get rid of Euro Yen because that is already gone. This one looks like it may be trying to set up for a short, which would follow suit with Euro Yen. Unfortunately, the pound is just a little bit weaker than Euro. So Euro is up higher a little bit. So it's not the best short trade to take. If anything, I'd probably be looking for support to get long, simply based on the fact that the Euro is just a slight bit stronger than the pound this morning. But that can change, as anything and everything in trading. It can change. Those percentage points change. Last hour, we did stall out and close under resistance. But this hour, you have bullish continuation. Let it smoke that high right there, and then we'll see what happens after that. If we get a bearish reaction, we can take a short. But it's definitely against the trend, and you have broken out, essentially. You've broken out above resistance, right? You closed the daily yesterday above resistance. So you do have a legit breakout. Ethereum broke out of an ascending triangle. Where is Ethereum? Let me go out here to the daily. You see what I'm talking about. So it was wedging up here, there. Yesterday you broke out. This is just another resistance point, but you're trading well above it today. So if this breakout had a ton of shorts build up, because remember, these patterns typically are looked at with bearish breakdown potential. So the fact that you're breaking out above it to the upside literally means that you could have a short squeeze on your hand, and short squeezes can last for multiple days. multiple days. Bitcoin doesn't look like that, right? It doesn't look as good. And you're just now getting above that high. So that's the price we're watching for potential pullbacks once we get up there and liquidate that swing high. We've already liquidated it, so now we're just waiting for the volume, if it is sell volume, to show us, right? Just show us. Show us what you're going to do. Looks like it's struggling to get up there, but make no mistake, you could have one 5-minute candle that stretches all the way up to 24,900 easily. Because that's where the liquidity is sitting. Let the bodies hit the floor. Numbers at 8:30. What numbers? Here, let me pull up daily FX. United States, PPI. Producer price inflation, month over month for final demand measures. Month over month changes in the price for commodities sold for personal consumption. Capital investment, government, and export. It is composed of 6 main price indexes. Yeah, so we do have PPI at 8:30. So be careful. That's in 1 minute. Let me. I'll keep the number up. Well, the number is not up, but I have it on another monitor. Slight bearish reaction here. 1 more minute for the news. Spike up, smoke the high, drop back down. Then we'll try to attack it. 8:30's here, so month over month PMIs. Here we go with the spike. Let's get up there and liquidate this high. Get up there, get up there, get up there, get up there. Perfect. Beautiful. Now we want to see a bearish reaction. You're not getting it. Nope. Not a short. Definitely not. Because this is still the price at which I would want to take that order. And now look at where your stop would have to be. That totally devastates the 2-to-1 risk to reward. So no short. Probably. Heath, how do you judge which candles are resistance, support, supply, demand? Thanks. Mr. John, there is a playlist on my channel called Beginner Trader. Start here. Inside of that playlist, there are about 9 or 11 videos. None of them are real long, 10, 15-minute videos that discuss that. But generally, when we're looking for resistance, we want daily or weekly candles, and we just look for bullish closes. A bullish closing daily candle will typically act as resistance for the next day. And then the same goes for support. We generally are looking for either daily or weekly bearish closes. That is support. Supply would be your last bullish candle before a down move. What that states is there was more selling going on inside of that day than actual buying. That's why you get a bullish close, and then the next day becomes bearish. Well, the open of that bullish candle will mark your supply. And the same goes for demand. It's just vice versa. If you're moving down or trending down, and then the last day closes bearish, the very next day you get a big bullish engulfing candle, then you typically watch the open of that last bearish candle for your demand zone. Because there's a story, it tells you, right? That day, there was likely more selling going on. That's why you had the bearish reaction the next day. So just because this candle's moving up, it doesn't mean that it isn't being heavily sold into currently, right? And that's basically how we view the markets when we're looking for supply demand. Other people call them order blocks, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Whatever the name is for the big YouTube channels out there, whatever they call them, I don't care. I call them supply and demand levels because that's what they are. That's what they've always been. That's what they always will be. They mark supply and demand. So let me show you here. This is a perfect example of a supply candle right there. See how, you're trading that, you get this big bullish candle, big strong close, and then the very next day, boom. That tells us that there was likely more selling going on inside of this daily range than buying because of how price reacted the very next day. So typically that's going to be your supply, and that's where you're looking right there, the open of the bullish candle. That would be where you would look for potential bearish entries on any pullback into that area. They generally offer really good places for trades, and you'll find those levels on the smaller time frames as well. Right, so here's a perfect example of it again. We did short this. So here's supply, this big bullish close. It's the last bullish closing, the highest bullish closing candle. 2 days later, bearish reaction. So see how price wicked back up into your supply, wicked, pulled back. Next day, wicked, pulled back. Looked like you were trying to break out, and then boom, down. This day breaks down below support, and that's all she wrote. So you had 3 days there to get short based on supply. That's why I say, like, the best trades generally take time to set up because, you know, depending on when you got short there and where your stop was, you'd have been all right. Now, I didn't take the short at supply. I was watching price action intraday because I'm a day trader. And when we broke down on this daily range here below hourly support, that's when I got short. I threw in a short, and I was looking for it to be a trend trade because this was a fresh 2022 high. I mean, we called this to perfection when we were over here. I was like, I want to see price get above the yearly opening range. I want to see it trade above, just above the yearly opening range for about a week. And I want to see it roll over. That's exactly what we got right here. Boom. Trade at it for about a week and then rolled over. Nice. Perfection. All right, so now you're back under there. So now the question becomes, do you take the short, right? Wick all the way up there would be your stop loss. So that's going to devastate your risk to reward, right? But you would be looking for an entry on 24,666. Throw a limit, sell 24,666. Stop up there. That'll give you about a 1-to-1 risk to reward. And it's a little bit less than 1% move to the downside. Just a little bit less than a 1% move to the downside. Right there is your entry if you want to take the short. And you're only targeting like roughly down in here. That'd be a 1-to-1 risk to reward. It's not the best trade setup in the world, guys. Not even a little bit. But if you can afford the risk, take the risk. See what happens. Nobody knows what price is ever going to do. So I'm teaching you how to take trades at, high probable areas. That does not mean you're going to be successful, because there's a lot of other stuff involved in trading. Like, do you overtrade? Do you revenge trade? All that stuff. Yeah, PPI was it was a miss. The revised number is 1%. The forecast was 0.2. So I don't know what they were expecting, because the number's revised. So it looks like there's an actual negative 0.5% miss on PPI. Continuing jobless claims, we were forecasted at 1407K. We got 1428K. That's jobless. So that means we had a little bit more jobless claims than we wanted to see. But that's okay, because that means unemployment is still low. Fed's probably still going to be hiking interest rates. Right? This is not what I want to see for the short trade. So we're probably going to scrap this. That was the liquidity breach. We did smoke London session high of day. It's the London session, but it is also the high of the day. You've already taken it out. You're trading right back to it. So, old high of day. There. Not really looking too bearish. Which it's not. I mean, it's green on the day. You're up almost like 3.5%. 3.26% on the day. You're up. So, I mean, you're trying to pick a top. Essentially is what you're trying to do here. Tag that trend line you showed last week. I can't remember which one it was, Tom. Was it an ascending trend line or a descending trend line? But if it does roll over, to be fair, it probably wouldn't take long to hit our target because it's not very far away. Let me see here. Mod ARCLK on show. I get long. Doesn't look like it wants to roll over. I would probably leave it alone, to be honest with you. And also there's an hour until the New York Open or the New York session. I mean, if you could get a tight stop in there, then you could potentially take it, but definitely doesn't look like it wants to roll over. It wasn't ascending on the top of the wicks. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Look at that. You closed right on the price at, the old high of day. This doesn't look bearish. This looks like you're going to see bullish continuation. Doesn't look bearish at all. Taking short if 25,190. Thinking if short 25,190. Let me see why. I don't know why you would pick that price specifically. There's 25.1 and 25.2. I don't see any reason why you would want to short right there. Yeah, I see zero reason why to short there. We're above the midpoint of that big bearish candle, so I mean, I don't really see a reason why to take a short there. Unless you were looking at this old wick low. That's May's wick low down there. That was our bullish target for the month of July, was this wick. So we bought the low of the month in July down in here. So we had the target of this, but yeah. So let me draw this trend line Tom's talking about. I think he's talking about this one. That. Maybe. Or did I have it on this one over here? Trend lines are extremely subjective, so please understand that when taking them. Like, just because we're tagging that trend line, that's probably what's causing a little bit of resistance. That's also probably why you're seeing a ton of volume build up right there, is based solely on this trend line and that old swing high. But that swing high has already been liquidated, and you got a slight bearish reaction during London. It traded right up to it. So I see what you're saying, Mr. Tom. It damn sure did. 24,900 tagged it. It definitely has to get above that. And then I had one down here also for the uptrend, because I was watching this. If we broke down, I was going to get really bearish on Bitcoin and look to sell it down to the next support, 2106. And then secondary target would be the bottom of the range at 19.2. But you can see we tested that, and we're trading higher today. So bullish continuation. Yeah. What's SPX doing? You're up 0.62%. It looks exactly the same as Bitcoin. Got the same 5-minute stab and everything. Big spike up. You already liquidated the range. And you're getting bullish continuation. That's where I would have expected it to roll over if it was going to. And it didn't. You're trading well up off of it. Next resistance is going to be here. Boom. So like literally we can't do anything on the S&P 500 until 42.91. Or if we get a pullback back down into weekly resistance. Because weekly resistance held so good for so many days. That's probably where I'd look for bullish entries if we did get a pullback. We were able to get a pullback down to 41.69.60. Probably look for bullish entries there, and I would be targeting 42.91.70. Why the sound is too low? Is it my mic that's too low? I have it turned up. It's turned up all the way. So I could just get closer maybe. So all in long, boys. Yeah, we've been looking for it to go higher. It's not as strong as other assets or as strong as I would like it to be, but we have broken out. We have gotten that close above yesterday, and now we're working on absolutely just taking out all of it. Possible trap on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, don't pay too much attention to 5-minute traps. 5-minute candles are very, very low. I suggest people watch hourly candles and get away from the 5-minute chart. But I understand people like looking at the 5-minute chart. The hour shows you everything you need, and it shows you the levels to watch. Right? We're getting a big, strong bullish continuation off of this resistance, off that liquidation, everything. So I mean, the hourly is literally telling you to not get short. If you got an hourly rejection here and then the next hour closed like down here, which that would be our target, then maybe you could get a lower push down to 24,267. 14 minutes left on the close of this candle. And more than likely it's going to close above resistance. The hourly it's just a better time frame to watch, in my opinion. Let's get back over to the 5-minute and just see how stretched out this thing is. I doubt my internet will even pull it up. Come on. Forget about it. There we go. Yeah, big move yesterday. Boom. Broke out, and now you can see that you're kind of trending to the upside. This thing tells you about the same amount of data as a 5-minute RSI does, right? So, I mean, you could potentially see this thing roll over and get a pullback. That would be the only reason of taking the short, is looking for the pullback. But, I mean, even this 5-minute candle closed above this 5-minute candle. So, like, you're trending up, even on the small time frame. Not really what you want to short. Because likely you're going to see bullish continuation. We'll keep it on watch, though. Euro USD got a big push. Yeah, so it's bullish too. That means you got dollar weakness as well. Yeah, I don't think I would be short in Bitcoin, guys. It'd be nice if I could get a trade every single day, but it just doesn't work out like that. I would much rather take the trades that fit my criteria for entry, as those work out a lot better than when I'm just trying to force one. Euro Swiss is getting, or USD Swiss getting killed. Let's go back over to on watch and we can check. Euro yen already moved, so I escaped it. So like this would be kind of like demand or supply zones here as well, but I hate the big candle ranges when you have a big range like that. I usually like the smaller candles for those. But you don't always get a retest of it either. In this case you did. But this is the weekly open, so that's why you're gonna play around this level for a little bit. This line separates whether or not Euro Pound closes as a bullish or bearish week. Well, tomorrow, because today's Thursday, but that's our line in the sand for bearish or bullish. And then USD CAD getting that bullish break because CAD is weak, Euro is strong. Or stronger. So I wanted this to pull back into support. It just didn't. Right? There is no support here. Your London session just opened and fired away. New York session, you're getting a little bit of bullish continuation. Or at least you were. If we go to the daily, you're going to see that this thing is trying to break out. This is weekly resistance. It also happens to be daily resistance. So it's a big important level for it to close above. If you do get the close above, then tomorrow we could look for longs and we could target this wick right there. That would be our bullish target on the event that we close above 1.31912. ETH, nice big strong day. Looks fantastic. Next resistance on ETH is going to be around 2,000 bucks, 1995. Something interesting, pound dollar isn't strong. But you got dollar weakness. So looking for a short here is going to be dangerous. This right here would be the area. This would be your short entry. But you've already had a pullback and now you're back up. So with dollar weakness, it might go higher. This would have been a better one to look for bullish entries as it did pull back into old resistance. I just didn't see it. Damn it. There was a perfect, beautiful entry right there. Absolutely phenomenal. And that's where you'd be taking profits. So if you did take 1.22, you'd taking profits at 1.22421. Range resolved. Sound is good, man. Perfect. Thanks, Jimenez. It is all good. Sound is fine. Maybe you just, whoever said that, maybe they just need to turn their volume up. 75 points hike coming in September. Mod says, yeah, it's very possible. ARCLK on show. I get long on this. ARCLK. No. Big strong gap up. Yeah, I mean, not until you get support or around support. And support didn't hold here. You gapped way down. But then you was right back out. So, I mean, down in here with support, you're into resistance. So, you know, you can't get long. I mean, if you're only targeting that, like an intraday trade, this is a different country's exchange. So I don't even know what would be a good time potentially to take trades on this asset. You know what I mean? But you tagged daily res and you got to pull back. Right now it looks like it's struggling with intraday resistance or also tagging intraday supply. So an hourly close above that, you're probably going back up to test resistance. But I mean, I wouldn't be getting long up here, man. Not right in front of resistance. No. Doesn't the Stoke RSI tell you that? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Dot Save Gaming and Crypto. Doesn't the RSI or the Stoke tell you that? I have no clue what you're asking. But yeah, the RSI tells me a lot of things. It tells me what assets are bullish and what assets are bearish. On the daily, right? I only use it on the daily. You're above the 50, you're bullish. You look for bullish entries. Simple as that. But you don't look for bullish entries if you're overbought. You don't look for shorts either. You typically want to be taking profits up there. Bitcoin's still trading at the high of day, so the short trade is not going to work. Maybe it will, maybe it like later, 9:30. Maybe then you'll get a bearish reaction. If it's still stumbling around this price, around 9:30, I'd say it'd probably get a nice little down move. Or the last bit of the volume that comes in during that time, we'll just go ahead and throw it on up above this. A close above that on a daily closing basis would be fantastic as well. So long, if not short. Now, you can't get long. I mean, you can't get long now, right? Because you're at the top of the daily range. You essentially could buy the top. I don't know if it's going to pull back today or if it's going to be continuation, but you definitely don't want to get long here. If anything, you would have been getting long down in here, or trying to, right? You look for pullback places to get long, preferably on an hourly time frame. So yesterday when we pulled back here, I was waiting to get long at that price. Right? At that price, 23,600. That's where I was looking to get long. When this hourly candle opened up, I wanted to see it push down into this price and then start to trade away, but it didn't. It just instantly traded away. And then you set in another bearish candle here. So, waiting for this candle to come back in and test it would have been a decent little place for an entry as well. I wouldn't have taken it because at that point you're at the high of the day. You've already had your daily range expansion. So there's a very good possibility that if you get long here, you're going to buy the exact top of the day. That's never fun. This is what we call sitting on your hands. There is no trade to take. You don't take it. You force a trade, you're going to lose money. More than likely. Yep, 100% subjective. Yes, for sure. Trend lines are subjective. This is why we put so much weight on horizontal prices, exact price points, because I know for a fact, I want to get long at 23,600 simply because it is resist or support. Now, if you get an hourly close below that level, then you're probably wrong on direction at that point in time. But this also happened at 1 o'clock in the day. I am typically looking for trade entries from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I don't look to trade after. After that, everything's done. You get like an hour after the stock market opens for even stock market trades. Anything after that, you're forcing trades. But a lot of times the levels will still be respected. Like this, when this bearish candle was put in here, look how long you respected that level. So, like if I pull it up here, remember what I was talking about, waiting for this price to be tested again, the close of that hourly candle? Well, you did test it here. Beautifully. You traded here, then you got a bullish candle showing you that this price was being respected. You traded right back down to it, closed at it. Next hour you opened, spiked down below it just a little bit, boom, up. And you've been up since. But you're at the high of the day. This was the daily high. So that's not a deep enough correction for me. Down in here would have been better. But when we go live, we're up here. You know what I mean? It's just no trade to take today. Tomorrow they probably will be. We weren't able to take a trade yesterday either. Although some people did buy the low. Right? Some people did buy this low down here. Because this was the low of day. Asian session open, took out the low of day, and then traded away. Because that's how price works. It's continuously going running old highs and old lows. And since we just liquidated a big high, that would typically be the place we would look for a pullback into support. Then you wait for the support, then you get long. You don't try to short it because, you just want to trade. I'm still watching the 5-minute time frame, and it hasn't given me anything to say that I want to short this. This would have been a perfect signal as long as it stopped closing higher 5-minute candles. If it started to roll over and started making lower closes, then we could have looked for a retest to get short. But this is strength. This is showing you strength, not weakness. Man, do it already. TA on ETC. Ethereum Classic coming up. Big, strong move today. You're above resistance. So now you wait for a pullback into support or a pullback into demand here. You can see that you almost tested it today. Not quite. I mean, you did test it there, but that was yesterday. Yesterday morning would have been the only time to take a trade. Right there. That was it. I guess you could have watched this support, and you did get 2 chances to take it there and there. But obviously, no one knows if that's going to happen or not. But it is bullish, and it is breaking out above resistance. Yeah, big strong day on Ethereum Classic. So wait for it to come back and test or build in an intraday support. Wait for today to close. See what happens tomorrow. If it continues, you still don't buy it. You're not buying it on green candles. You look to buy it on red ones. Or on retests, right? If you buy it up there, you're going to buy the top. Or the high of day. Because generally the way markets work, all right, so like looking at candles, the best thing to actually look at to understand how daily ranges operate is a bar chart, right? This is actually the best thing to look at. And the reason is simple. The right or the left side of the bar is your open. The left side of the bar is the close. The right side is the close. And then that's your range. So, and a candlestick works the exact same way. Where's the brush? So your ranges, usually you have your open, right? Then you have a fake move. Then you get your range expansion. And then once the high of day is marked, you get a slight pullback. That's what a daily range does. For shorts, it's the same thing, only the opposite way. You have your open of the daily candle. You get your move up to liquidate anybody early. Then you get your expansion to the downside. You find the low of day. Then you trade away from the low. That's what a daily range is. So when you look at it, like intraday, when you look at intraday candlesticks, we go out here to 1 day, and it's going to show you 1-minute candles. There's your daily range. Here's your open. You traded sideways, little move lower, sideways, smaller move lower, up. So now it's probably going to set in a high and then trade away from the high and then close the day somewhere in here, right? That's why you don't look to buy expansions. You wait for pullbacks. If you have a bullish bias, wait for that pullback, wait for support, get long at support, target would be the low, would be your stop, and you'd be targeting the previous high. That's continuation. And you can see it happen over and over and over again every single day. And that's essentially what we want to do. We want to try to get long, before the day. So let me go over here to the open of the day. And we'll mark that open. There is your open. So this is where yesterday's candle closed, daily candle. This is where today's candle opened. Little move to the downside, straight up. Then you set in a sideways market or a sideways dealing range. Then you're up. Do the same thing, up. So you're looking to be a buyer there, and that's it. Or at the open. I know several professional, successful traders that are swing traders, and they only take positions at the close of the day. Depending on where it closes, they take positions, right? At the close. They're not always right, obviously, but there's just so many different ways you can trade these markets. Nice push right back up into that. So it looks like Bitcoin wants to make a new high of day. And we already looked at ETH. ETH looks much better than Bitcoin. Not really, though. They're actually trading about the same today. But as far as like overall structure of the market, it looks better. It looks stronger. It looks like ETH is finding a top currently. It doesn't mean it will be, but it looks like it's trying to. Into resistance would have been much better. So basically, there's where you closed yesterday. See how resistance is there? You trade up above it, and then you close under it. Today, you opened up, which was last night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You just went straight up. But if we get a pullback, like say down to here, then we could look to be a buyer. ETH is bullish. ETH is overbought, right? Daily support was respected and held. Another way that we do it, when we get below the line. So like this is support. We know it's support. Let's go into the 5-minute time frame and let's go over here where that support is and look how price traded around that level. Look at this. All right. So we know that this is daily support. We know it is. So we watch how price reacts around it. This is the same thing that happened to Bitcoin, right? Here was your low of day, boom. Then you traded away from it until you got to the Asian session. So this was the day's close. Right in here was your close. Then your fresh daily candle opens. First move is to penetrate and smoke the lows of the previous day. What you do is you wait for price to get back above that low. That's when you take your long entry. Then you throw your stop under the new low because that was the liquidation. If you're going to see bearish continuation, then obviously you're going to be stopped out at some point because price will trade away from that low. Even if you take the entry, if it's going to continue, eventually it just migrates down. But in this case, we, seen this, boom, long. And that's where a lot of people got long. In the chat, there are people in this chat right now telling me that's when they got long. That is such a beautiful long entry. Such a beautiful long entry because look where it's trading now. Yeah, good shape. Good job. So now what we have to do is we'll wait. If Bitcoin's going to have a pullback day, maybe today when it closes, maybe it closes in here somewhere. And then this becomes the high of day. If you're going to see a pullback day or a bearish day tomorrow, then you wait for the Asian session, see if it trades up and smokes the high. Comes back down, then potentially you have already liquidated your previous day's high, and now you can look for the pullback to occur. The liquidation happens, then the pullback happens. But when we're bullish like this, we're only looking for bullish entries, typically. We're not trying to short for the pullback. We want to stay on the side of the trend as you have a better chance or a more likelihood of catching continuation. Taking one day trade is okay. You make 2 to 5% today, close down your trading platform, come back, do it again tomorrow. If you can do that, it's fine. But some of the best trades that I have ever taken was taken as a day trade, and then I took profits, moved my stop, and then the next day opened and got bullish continuation, and then just kept going up and up and up and up. And I was essentially positioned at the low. That was one, I've caught several trades like that. We shorted Bitcoin during the bear market like that. That place I showed you earlier in the beginning of the stream, I took a short there. And I rode that baby all the way down to $26,000 because that was my bearish target. So the better trades are to look for bullish continuation. So don't try to short it and try to pick the top. Wait for support. Then look for getting long at the low of day, possibly, for the next daily range. That's all we do, day in and day out. And we missed most everything we were looking at. I really wanted your USD or Euro Yen. It just did not come back. Did not come back. And sometimes you're going to miss trades like that too, right? You're going to have a perfect game plan already situated. You're already going to know the direction. You're already going to have a directional bias. Everything's going to work out. Except you're not going to get pulled back. You're not going to get that wick back into your limit order to fill you. And then you're going to watch price just run away in the direction that you intended. So, I mean, you can't let that affect your thinking or anything. That's FOMO. Just let it go. There's nothing you can do about it. You can wait, though, till the next day, and you could take a short entry again looking for downside continuation. This is obviously trending lower. And when you take shorts, you want to take them at swing highs. So perfect place to look right here. Why is that line there? It is monthly supply. See? Last month, this month, you're trading very, very bullish. Next month happens, boom, down. So that tells us there was probably more selling going on in this monthly range than buying because of what happened the next month. Then you come in for a retest there. This is what it looks like on the daily. Well, I just screwed it up. There we go. So here's your monthly range expansion down. Finds the low of month. Then you get your pullback. Right up into supply. First day, no thing, right? You don't take it then. Because why? Well, look what happens this day. Same thing. It opens. This closes under. This day opens under. Trades up to do one thing and one thing only. And that's to liquidate this day's high. There's your short entry. Stop above the high of day. Boom, down. So if you were able to get there, now you're in the position and you're making money as long as it continues to trade lower and lower and lower, which it's likely going to. This is based solely on yen strength. It has been absolutely slaughtered to the downside for a long time, so we are looking for it to bounce. USD JPY, same thing. Right? Down. Look to sell swing highs. We called this level out last week. Right here. When we were down here, I said I want to see it pull all the way back up into this level. And then that's where you could reinitiate or look for new short trades. Down. This took 4 days to play out. And look at this liquidation there. Liquidated this high. And then it traded away. Boom. Down. That's what we look to do every single day. It's fantastic. It's beautiful, especially when it works. Super strong today, man. You're still trading above that liquidation. We got 15 minutes. Since we're waiting on 9:30, we got 15 minutes until that happens. There is a link in the description for Bitget. It's the exchange I use to trade Bitcoin. They have an inverse swap contract, which essentially allows me to deposit Bitcoin and then trade Bitcoin with these directional daily biases. And they have less fees than anybody else, any other exchange. They have no KYC. Transitioning from cold storage into Bitget, seamless. Transitioning from Bitget back to cold storage is seamless. Fantastic exchange. The platform looks pretty good. It's not super clunky. I have nothing but good things to say about it. So if you wanna check them out, use the link in the description. Use referral code XTSC, X-Ray Tango Sierra Charlie, when you sign up, and I appreciate it. It is an affiliate link, so thank you for all of you who have used it. I appreciate it. So we're probably not gonna get to short Bitcoin, which is good because you're bullish. You don't want to short a bullish asset. ETH is pulling back a little bit. Bitcoin is trying to. It's just trying to. Let's see if our point of control has migrated up. It's unlikely that it has, but it hasn't. Also, I don't like when the point of control is like essentially in the middle of the range. So this box is your daily range. This is your open, and then wherever it closes, that'll be, extended out to the close. So essentially this is your daily low down here. Up here currently is your daily high. And your point of control, where the most volume traded, is in the middle of the range. I typically don't like that. All right. So, it could be a pullback day. Starting to get a little bit of a pullback reaction now. You're getting right back down to the old high of day. You're under it. This line is that liquidation from the previous day, like 4 or 5 days back. So those are your two liquidation points. Boom and boom. Fresh high of day, and that trend line is catching it as resistance. So a pullback is good, right? Then we can look for long entries tomorrow potentially. I still wouldn't take the short. I mean, even though if you're still aiming for the old hourly resistance, your risk to reward is still going to be bad. Well, not as good as a 2-to-1. Oh wait, it might actually be now. Nope, 1.5 to 1. This is the support, so this is where you have to take profits if you were to short it. Now you're starting to get that little bit of a bearish reaction. 15 minutes until the New York Open. When it retreats, it doesn't even go back to give you that entry. But down here is the profit zone anyway, so you could enter there if you wanted to. It's your last area of resistance. If you get a pullback into it, stop above the wick high, which is the high of day. Is LDO a good short? Let me pull it up and I will see. Is that a ticker? I mean, if Bitcoin pulls back today, it potentially will as well. And you just liquidated that. So let's go see if we got any intraday resistances. I mean, you closed above hourly res. You're still below that daily liquidation. But, I mean, I don't know, right? Retail, or people will call this a double top if it rolls over. So, like, my entry would have to be 2.85, and my stop would be above that. And if Bitcoin pulls back and continues to pull back on the day, this will likely do the same because it is a crypto. First target profit target would be that bearish close, this one, because it's the lowest one. And then this one would be your secondary target, because that is support and you could get a bounce from there. Get a bounce all the way back up to your entry because you are bullish. Order flow is currently going higher. Up, pull back, up. All right. I mean, you can clearly see the order flow is bullish. So the best trade would not be looking for the short. It would be looking for a swing low to buy. Maybe up here somewhere, right? But when they do start to do this, like this formation here, when they start doing that, it does smell weak, right? Because here's your high, and then you get up here, but it's not much higher, just insignificant. And then you instantly pull back, right? Another insignificant high, but you haven't pulled back yet. So, I mean, if it's topping out, if this is going to be the top, then yeah, you could probably nail a decent short there. $2.85 would be my short entry. And we'll look at it in a couple days and see what happened with it. Whether or not we got stopped out or not. But yeah, it's potentially a decent spot to look for shorts. Yesterday was an uber bullish day. So I mean, you're seeing exactly the same thing that's going on with Bitcoin, going on with this. So I would probably look for swing lows down here. So let it pull back to there. And then look for bullish entries. But if this is going to be the top or whatever for a few weeks or something like that, then yeah, that's going to be a decent short entry. Yeah. And today's range isn't very big. So how much of a percent is that? So it's a potential 16% move down to there. That's not a bad move. Not a bad move at all. Not a lot of liquidity in it. Because when I see hourlies do this stuff, I don't like that. Because wherever this candle closes, this candle is supposed to open there. There's a slight gap down. So the liquidity providers just didn't have nothing there at that price. Yeah. It's hard to say if it's going to work, but watch this price here. That's that daily pullback or that daily liquidation. But what it also is it's hourly resistance. So as long as you're closing hourly candles below that price, there is a chance that it will roll over. I don't know if you get all the way down to there because that's daily supply or demand. Sorry, it's daily demand here. But you can see how your last support zone is there. And you might get down there. You might stall out. You might have a wick down and then go. You might not even come back down there. But you can keep it on watch and watch your hourly closes. As long as you're not closing above that, then yeah. That's just a pullback on the hourly. It looks, not so great on the 5-minute, but on the hourly, it's not bad at all. But it still hasn't came back up here. It still hasn't. It might. Hasn't yet. SHIB USDT. Let's go look at it. I haven't looked at SHIB in a long time. I used to trade this thing aggressively. Oh man. It is just so weak. This thing's like Doge, right? It trades sideways a lot. But you did finally get a breakout on this one. That was resistance for a very, very long time. Couldn't close above it. Couldn't close above it. Even though you traded above it many, many times, you just couldn't close above it till boom, there. And you're trading away from it now. So resistance, next resistance is going to be there. If it even gets there. Currently, this is probably going to be resistance. It's just inherently weak. It's just weak. It's not even close to looking the same as Bitcoin. It has found a bottom though, maybe for a while. So I mean, if it gets back down there, I could potentially buy it. But I mean, it completely retraced. Completely retraced all of its gains. So all of its bull market gains were retraced. All of them. How many people do you think bought up in here? A lot. Looking for bullish continuation. Even after you went up 16,000%, you're still going to be a buyer. But it might have found a low. If Bitcoin has found a low, a lot of your cryptos will have found a low as well. It's not coming back. We needed it to come back to there. Today's probably just going to, well, it's not going to be, excuse me, it's not going to be an inside day because it's already made a new fresh high. So that wipes the fact of it being an inside day. But inside day just simply means it's a small range day. So, we want to look to try to buy that support if we can. And look for more bullish continuation. Tomorrow, let's see if we got any news tomorrow. We have United Kingdom news, but that's going to be during the London Open. It's got GDP. And then we have Michigan consumer sentiment, but that's nothing. I don't even ever care about that. And that's it for tomorrow. There ain't really a whole lot. That GDP news for the United Kingdom, for the British pound, will probably affect that. That could be why pound is weak today as well. Or weaker. Right. It's kind of a small range day. Because here is your close. So there's your low of day, there's your high of day. Very small range day in comparison to yesterday. If the GDP news is bad, then what we seen there could be completely retraced. So pound will be on the list tomorrow to watch for sure. But that news is already going to come out before I wake up probably. It doesn't have a time. I guess it's going to be around 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., which is, the London session open. That's probably like 9 or 10 o'clock for you guys over there. But here it's early morning. Real early. Your USD double topping. Oh, see that? That was the original short entry. This is a good trade, but there it is. Right back. That's a wrong direction, but it looked like a short to me. So, yeah. Aussie yen is neutral on the day. So, stalling out a little bit. Just not doing anything. Could be a short. Watch 94.080 on an hourly closing basis. That's the open. Let me find it right there. Wait a minute, that's the open. What is going on here? This should be the open of the day. What am I doing wrong? That is so strange. What is going on? It doesn't match the open of the day. There's the open on this one. Oh my God, what is going on? There's the daily open. Oh, okay, yeah, it's a bearish candle. Duh. Sorry. That's a bearish candle. So there's your open of the day. We would be watching this price to see if this hourly closes back under it, maybe you get short side continuation. And that's just based on yen strength. But the yen looks like crap overall. All right, let me see over here. Yes, Max DeCiso in line with consensus. LDO will go down 2 to 4%. Okay. I wish I knew how. I wish I knew how you know that, but I'll take your word for it. Nasdaq. Let's go look at it. And 2 minutes until the open. 2 minutes. Let's look at the E-minis. Big strong day yesterday as well. You have broken out of that trend line right there. Well, let me get it in the right place. All right, there you go. That is a breakout, and you're getting bullish continuation. So people were shorting this, and it's clear to see because you had 3 bearish days. And now you're up over the high. So short squeeze can now commence. 13,955.50 is possible. You could get all the way up to there. But you do have resistance here, so maybe that stops it. Right? Resistance, and you haven't tested it yet. But you're well above the liquidation spot, so you might have a small range day, but we'll see if you continue. If you drop back under this thing over here, that's going to look like a trap, right? It will look like a bull trap if that happens. I'm not bearish. Everybody else, or a lot of people still are bearish, but I am not. We were actually looking for last month's CPI, July CPI, to be lower, or June CPI, apologies. We were looking for it to be lower, and it was higher. It was 9.1. But we were expecting it to top out pretty soon. We don't know if it has yet. We need a couple more months of data, but if we have topped out, then I expect assets, especially risk assets, more than likely to have the low in. So we're in pullback buy mode. There's several places you can buy that. Let's go to the weekly real quick and see if there's any better levels to watch. Well, not real quick. I don't know why this happens. I bet I can pull up a whole new trading view and it would load quicker. Nothing on the week. That's the level that we were watching to be a buyer on Bitcoin. There. Look how beautifully that level tested on the Nasdaq. Jesus. Perfection. Boom. That was the entry for longs. It was tested to perfection. Bitcoin is pushing up back up to that level. Let me get back over there because it is 9:31, so we have opened. It's not going to pull back to there. Damn it. Damn it, man. That's the previous high of day. So if it gets up there and then rejects, like it kind of did here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that could be a decent place to look, and then target this. That price is 24,751. And on Bitget, it is 24,744. Let me put an alert there, just in case we go away from the screen. Thank you, Heath, for explaining the supply-demand question. You're welcome. And like I said earlier, I do have a lot of videos that discuss those exact things. Yeah, the PPI number is out, and it was a miss. It was a miss. It was 0.5% was the actual. Revised down to 1%. The forecast was 0.2%. The continuing jobless claims was a miss as well. But the initial jobless claims was a beat. 262K. They were looking for 263. Oh wait, it's revised to 248. So either way, it's still under the forecast, which is a beat because it's a blue number. So sometimes those are wrong as far as if it's a beat or a miss. Love you, Bappa. I don't know what that means. All right, GDP is 8 a.m. UTC plus 2. That's tomorrow morning. Where's your daily resistance on RTY1? You're trading in the middle of it, so that like you're not into a resistance level on the rut. You're currently coming into a weekly supply. Right there. It's also weekly support or old weekly support because you broke down. This is the first time you've tested it since the breakdown. So right there, that's where I would expect resistance to be, at least for a day, because this is the first time you're testing it since being back there. So today could pull back a little bit. Eventually, I expect it to break as long as things keep going on the up and up. You don't even have divergence here. There's the high, then you got a higher high, and you have a higher high in price. So you might not get the pullback today. But 1991 spot 10 is the level. That's the only place I would look for short entries. And I would not be looking for like a short all the way back down to this day's open. I would look for potentially a short down to the midpoint of that daily range. So like if I was going to short it, I would short at 1991.10, and then I would look, well, this is an hourly. Damn it. Go back to the daily. We want the daily range. Only be looking for it to get to the midpoint of the daily range, which is the yellow line right there. So that would be the place for a short entry. That would be my target if I was going to short it. I like to short things that are showing weakness for like multiple days at a resistance. Like the SPX did. Right? This didn't really. Daily resistance all the way down here. That's the one you broke out of yesterday. Next one is all the way up there to 2035. I didn't even know this ticker was that. So thank you for showing me that. I'm going to add that to... I don't trade E-mini futures. I don't have a futures account. But it should still go up there. I have the IWM and the RUT itself. But let's put this one on there too. Oh, I screwed that all up. Perfect. All right. All right. So yeah, that's where I'd watch it right there. ETC bull run again. It's possible. I mean, it's already going, but I wouldn't buy it. There's no way I'd buy it up there, man. You're breaking out currently. You're currently showing a breakout. You do have daily resistance to get through, but I wouldn't be looking to buy it right there. You need to see it pull back. See if it pulls back into this. See how this daily candle is also the midpoint of it is the resistance. That's generally a good sign for a legit breakout. Now, if tomorrow you get a bearish engulfing, then that's just going to be a trap. And then you can look to short it if it gets back up to here or up to this candle's open. But that's like 3 things that has to happen before you could say that you could even look for shorts. You have a legit breakout on your hands today. A breakout above resistance. It's not a breakout above the high, just above resistance. And the midpoint of this daily range is at resistance. Those are typically good breakouts. It's not going to come back. You might as well just scrub your hands with this one. It is over. It is over. It's almost at the target. Good morning, says Pixel Property. Good morning, good morning. Just reading some of these comments real fast. Tom says it would be unreal or unusual for Bitcoin to go higher without a demand or support test. Yeah, that's what we want, right? That's what we want, because we did get a decent breakout yesterday. So basically what we want to see is we do want to see it come back in for a support test. Support is all the way down there, 23,815. Will it get down there? I don't know. I do not know. But that's where I would like to see it touch and reject. But once again, that would make today look like a trap, wouldn't it? Because you would take out the low. So maybe watch for today's open to act as support moving forward. Right down here. I can't see it because this thing's in the way. Yeah, you can see it. All right, so that's the open there. So maybe wait to see if you do that. Or like I said earlier, wait for a midpoint test. So today's range is here. Wait for a midpoint test. Maybe you find support here today. And you have two levels of intraday support you can watch. This one, our first initial target, and then this one. So that puts you pretty close to the 618 and the 50% retracement. See that? Yeah, I would just watch those two areas. Those would be my potential pullback zones to watch today for intraday support. I would have liked to seen today get like a lot of momentum, because I'm not liking most of these daily candles, right? This day it's still a pretty decent sized day, but it's not as big as yesterday. I'd have liked to see this thing just go after smoking that high, because that's your highest high in this range. It's right there. Or trading under it. Not the best looking day. Even your SPX isn't having a very good strong day after a breakout. So maybe it does want to come in for a retest of something. You retested that liquidation zone there, or the point of liquidation today. At the close yesterday. You tested it at the close of yesterday. Also, demand. So yeah, I'm not going to short Bitcoin. I'm going to wait for support. I want to see support down here or here. If we close an hourly below that, then we'll see if that ends up being a bear trap. So don't take the first test of it. Don't buy it as soon as you tag that level. I want you to see how price reacts at it. So like if it just slowly trends down for the rest of the day and gets down here, look for that one breakdown candle, and then look for the next candle to be an engulfing back to the upside. And then that line would be your entry, and then your stop would be based solely on that lower candle. But that will be the game plan moving forward for today on Bitcoin. This hourly could absolutely stall out, and then this thing could rip higher. Today's just getting started, essentially. So you just got the last big bulk volume on the day. So you just came in and you tested the point of control. But you did take out the low of that, so this could be a trap. We'll just have to see. But down here, I'd be a buyer. For sure. If it stalls out. Like if we get a support test. Here's your point of control. That's the level we were looking to short. That white line. What do you, NZDJPY, what do you think of it as a potential short? Well, it's strong as F today. NZD's the strongest pair or the strongest currency on the day. It doesn't look that great against the yen. But yen pairs do this a lot. I mean, yesterday you had that. My goodness, freaking candle, man. Ugh. Let me look on the daily. It's like I said, man, I hate trying to short strong assets, and New Zealand is the strongest on the day. Still, New Zealand is almost up a whole %. But trying to short, and yen is up 62%. So literally you're trying to short. That's why it's just sideways today. It's two competing strong currencies. I don't know if it'll be today, but maybe if one of them weakens up, like if NZD weakens up, then maybe you're into daily supply, which is probably why you're wanting to take the short. You tested it yesterday and look how you closed. Right under it. So if I was going to short this, I would not do it today, or I would wait for yesterday's high to get taken out and then see what happens after that. So intraday, you would have to wait on that. Wait for a push up a good 10 pips above it and then see if it retraces instantly. If it does, then that's where you take your short trade. But not until that happens. Because this asset is strong. And if you do try to short it like at the resistance levels you have currently, then there's a good chance you're going to get stopped out on the stop run. If there is a stop run. Very sideways today. I mean, this is a very small range day. This is the open here. So you're essentially a doji. There's your low of day. There's your high of day. Low of day, high of day. The last 2 hours set in the entire daily range. I would wait for that up there. And then if you get the rejection after liquidating yesterday's high, which, you know, what's this price? The high is 85,364. 85,358. So you essentially already liquidated yesterday's high. It's not a really good liquidation, but you already liquidated it. So I don't like it short. I would probably look to buy support and target that, if anything. Because look at order flow. I mean, it's bullish. It looks like it's running out of steam, to be fair. Yeah, just see what happens once you liquidate the high. See if you get a rejection. We'll watch it together. We'll put an alert up there. That way, if this happens, because Bitcoin's pushing up to where we were looking for that potential short. There. WA. What's app? Watching Nasdaq 100 to see if it rejects daily resistance. Nice. How do you get that point of control indicator? It is literally built in. Go up here to indicators. Go down here to technicals. Volume profile. It's in the middle. And you want the session volume profile, right? You're going to see a lot of people use fixed range volume profiles and then volume profile on the side over here for daily candles. That's useless. If you want to use volume control in a way that is, can help you be a day trader, you want session volume, because we want to track at what price was the most volume inside of the daily range. So session volume, it's the middle. Middle over here, middle over here, middle over here. Middle of the pack. That shows you where the most volume is being traded. Do not take trades off of the point of control. You're going to lose money a lot, because although price will have reactions around them, you want legitimate price levels. So find the legitimate price, like a daily resistance or something that's close to the volume profile, but still take the trade based on the level that the candle made, not the volume profile. Like hourly or 2-hour candles, right? Not the 5-minute. I used the volume profile to help build the strategy, because I started noticing that, most of the volume was trading at like your daily opens and your daily closes. So that's why I started using daily opens and daily closes for resistance, instead of like how most people teaches on YouTube how to find resistance. It's subjective the way they teach. The way I teach, it's objective. It is an objective level. It is a fact, right? That's why we use them. I want to take trades based off of objective resistance and objective supports. Notice how your point of control is at an objective resistance. It's intraday resistance, but it is still resistance. There, that is your objective resistance. Point of control is right at it. But if you would have taken a short based on that, you got smoked with this candle. And that's simply because order flow is bullish. Even though it's in the middle of the range, it's still bullish. You're still trading above the volume profile point of control. But you can clearly see how when this candle was put in this morning, London session, that close, that's your highest close. That's objective resistance. As long as you're closing under it, under. You closed above, so now you're done, right? You probably got stopped out, but it's okay. That's trading. Now you wait for another objective level to form. You have one here. Not the trend line, the actual close of the candle. That's your objective price point. Yeah. And that's it's a good tool. But if you're looking at a daily time frame and you have volume profile over here looking at this, that is not going to help you in no way, shape, form, or fashion to take any trade based off of any of that data. I do not understand why people do it. There. This volume profile, when you do this visible range volume profile, it's taking the data from the number of candles you have on the chart. So just by me moving the chart over, it will change this. Watch. Boom. You see that? Now, how is that helpful? You would have to know exactly how many daily candles you have on screen at the time of getting your point of control. It's legitimately mad. There's no way it can help. There's not a strategy that can be built off of this. But people look at it all the time. See? It's quite useless. Boom. I got this many candles. When this changes, let's put 3 more on there. Boom. Changed. It's useless. Useless. Don't use it. And if you see anybody using it like that, just ignore it. They don't know what they're doing or something. Your visible range or your session volume profile is the best one to look, and that's intraday volume. Now, session range, I mean, using the range volume profile, I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because you're just trying to identify where the bulk of the volume is. So right there would be your short entry if you were looking for shorts on Bitcoin. That's the old swing high. That's the old daily high. I would rather buy support. Also, it's something to remember about your point of control. Even with the session volume, it will change as each new candle is formed throughout the day. That's new data. And that new data can fluctuate the point of control. It could be here by the end of the day, right? Point of control could be up here or even up here by the end of the day. $24,744 is the price on Bitget. It has not been tested yet on Bitget. On Coinbase, it has $24,751, and then it's $24,744 on Bitget. So it's just about $10 difference there. But you can see how the candle is reacting to it. So people are putting orders there. You're still trading above your current point of control. So that literally means that the volume is bullish. Or the daily, the daily range is definitely bullish. We already know that. It's up 3%. So by trying to take this short, you are literally trying to pick the top of a bullish day. So when I'm generally looking for shorts, I want to find an asset that's red on the day and that's pulled back to the open or pulled back into an old daily resistance, something like that. Those are generally the assets you want to short. When they're bullish, you're typically looking to buy them. Like you look for the open of the day and then see if price pulls back to the open or an old daily support that's close by. I do love to watch price react to these levels, though, man. It's so awesome. See him just trades right up to it, tags it, and dilly-dallies around it. So yeah, session volume. Thank you for your opinion on NZDJPY. You are more than welcome. Yeah, I think it's bullish more than it's a bearish trade. You're very strong. NZD is very strong today. Would it be a short at previous high, 24,700-ish? Yeah. I mean, if you want to short it, right? That's the place at which I would want to see it roll over if it was going to be a lower pullback day. Right? Old high. But we wanted to see it reject there after liquidating it, and we did get that rejection, but that was a news candle. But then you ended up still, trading back up to it. So this could essentially just be a pullback. And by today, you could be trading at $25,000. Was right there is 25 grand. That's a big figure number. Big figure number. And big figs will act as support and resistance sometimes. Just based on people taking entries there. So, I mean, if I was wanting to short this, what I would have wanted to see, man, to be honest with you, is I would have wanted to see this. And then I would want to see this candle trading down here. Right? If this candle is trading inside of this candle's range and closes like that, your next one's probably going to go up. Right? So if you use this high as your risk, this is your entry, your take profit has to be at that hourly support. And it's not quite a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So even just going based off of pure risk to reward, it's not a very good one to take. You're 1.56 to 1. Not even a 2-to-1 risk to reward to short this right now. So be careful taking it. That was a nice push lower, and then you're right back up. So I definitely want to see that start to happen soon. Start to roll back over to make me feel more confident about it. As it's pushing up into it like this, it's just not, I don't like it. Sometimes, and then it's also late. I mean, it's getting ready to be 10 o'clock. So this is basically when I'm done trading for the day. And this is the reason why, because after the day's range has already been essentially put in, trying to trade in the middle of it is going to be difficult. As far as hourly resistance, you don't even have nothing here. You're trading inside of your last bullish pushes candle. You're just trading in the middle of its range. So like up here would probably be the better short if it gets back up there. And then if it were to get back up there after doing this, I don't even know if I would want to take that short. I would be afraid that it's going to go higher. And that's your risk. So it's just, you have to weigh the pros and the cons out in your head. Is it even a decent trade to take? Does it have a good risk to reward? Is it in the direction of the order flow? Like all of these things. And clearly this trade is not. It doesn't have any of those boxes checked. It doesn't mean it won't work though, right? Because price is chaotic and unpredictable. The progress, or the, not progress, but the success of trading doesn't come specifically from knowing where to take trades. The success of trading comes from knowing, when to set on your hands, when to take positions, when not to take positions. Right? That's also part of being successful in trading. It is very boring when there's no trade to take. I understand that, but that's just the case. That's the fact. So you just got to fold up the laptop or whatever you're looking at and bounce. Go do something else for the rest of the day. Come back tomorrow and look for a new setup. There's always an opportunity. Every day there's an opportunity. It's just sometimes we miss them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Let's just do something rinky-dinky. Alright, so from that swing high to this new swing low, you're at the 618. So that's like the only thing you got there for the trade. But it is the old high of day. The daily candle, the one that actually was a liquidation point. This is your highest point in the range. That's where I would have wanted to see a rejection if I was going to be looking for a short today, right? I would have wanted to see it trade up into that and then instantly reject. Then that would have been a little bit better for the short today. And we'll see what happens here. I also have a video on my small channel where I show you how to use this tool, this risk to reward tool, to identify trades. Sometimes just by using that tool wherever you currently are in the daily range to see if I target the day's high, is it a good risk to reward? Or is it a better risk to reward if I target the day's low from here? It's a pretty good video to check out. BTC, yeah. What are your favorite hours to trade crypto? 7 to 10. 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, yeah. Yeah, I just trade it because that's when I'm usually looking for Forex trades. You have the New York open at 8 a.m. for Forex, and then you have the stock market open at 9:30. After the stock market opens, once you get into like 10, 11, most of the volume's already been in for the day. And then what's going to happen for the rest of the day is price is just going to trend away from that, right? So like the trade it's already happened if there is even going to be one. And for today as well. If there was going to be a trade, it would have already happened. And it happened at the London session. Right? Once again, the London session pretty much, I can't say that because we did trend up after the Asian session last night. So after the close, we just immediately went up. So the London session was the retrace, the new high and a retrace, and then boom, New York took out the high. So it's bullish continuation. Does that make sense? More than likely, this is going to just trend up. Or usually that's what happens, I should say. And since you've had like 20 minutes here at this level and you can't get any bearish reaction, you're probably just going to get a big spike here in a second. Right? It's probably just going to go... As it does look like people are buying this. But I leave that decision up to you. That's your decision to make. NZD JPY about to smoke that liquidity. Alright, let's pull it up on multiple monitors here. We'll leave this one up. And there's a close above it. So that would probably have me not looking for it for sure now. If you didn't know, now you know, right? NZD JPY. Why is Aussie and New Zealand literally on every damn chart? You're bullish on the RSI too. This is NZD JPY. So like, yeah, the trade was a bullish trade, not a bearish trade. Bitcoin's even moving up. So let's see what happens after this. Let's drop down to the 5-minute. You would want to see a spike up and then an instant rejection if it's going to be a pullback day. But you are bullish. You're above the 21 on the daily and you're above the 50. So the trade would have been looking to buy support and aiming for that. All right, you're barely above it. So let's just mark it with a line here. It's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see a bigger spike. But if you were going to short it right now, it'd be the time to do it. And just figure out where you can put your risk. Just say like maybe 10 pips. And this has got a big spread, so try to get the entry above if you can. And there's your stop. Not really a bearish reaction. Bitcoin pushing up into the highs of the day. Yeah, the trade was bullish on Bitcoin this morning. SPX just trending up. Just trending up. So like also this a 20 pip take profit is what you would want if you're risking, 10 pips. That's down there. Bitcoin pushing up, SPX pushing up, everything's pushing up, pushing up. What do we want over there? Ethereum. Let's see what it's doing. Let's see what ETH is doing. Nice strong week. Yeah, yesterday's CPI essentially made the weekly range. See how ETH pushed up into that? That's where more than likely I would want to see Bitcoin stall if I was looking for the short, not in the middle. I would want to see it stall out right there. So as you push up there, definitely don't want to see it trading above it. You just want to see it tag it and then roll over. That price on Bitget is 24,862.50. I wouldn't do it. Like I said, I don't have a short bias on it. If you're taking a short, it's specifically for a pullback only, because everything is bullish and moving higher. SPX is trading above. Ethereum's pushing up into it. Bitcoin's pushing up into it. Have you ever tried trading without take profits, only moving stop losses? No. I always take my risk off the table. I do not like having risk in the market. So like right now, I have risk in the market. 1% of my account is in the market for risk. And all I'm doing is I'm trying to pick a top on a very bullish asset. NZD is the strongest asset of the day. So trying to short it doesn't make sense. This is a paper account, but when I do this, it's just to basically line the things up so you can see what I'm doing. But I always take profit. Always. 2/3 of the position or of the profits, I take them out of the market. That's by doing that, I am controlling my risk. I no longer have risk in the market. So I took a little bit of money. That 1% that I was willing to lose ended up making like 1.6% profit. Then I moved my stop loss to break even. So then, yes, if I am in, like if I did nail the swing high on a downtrending market like USD JPY or something like that, then absolutely just keep moving the stop down. Like every time you get a bullish day and then the next day becomes bearish again, just float that stop down to just above that bullish day. Right? And then you can just keep moving your stops lower and lower and lower, and that's the way you catch a trend. And eventually, just after a few days, depending on how big the move is, you're going to make more money on that trade than you did on the original position. You see what I mean? And you did it with literally zero risk in the market. What you're still risking unrealized P&L, but you're not risking any of your money, right? So I always take profits. Yeah, always. Oh, here comes the spam bots. BTC to 100 racks. I don't know what 100 racks is. So this is probably continuation. NZD yen. Right? Bullish continuation. If it was just going to be a stop run and then down, it would have already done it. More than likely. So we'll just close that down. Boom, boom. Bitcoin and Ethereum both pushing up into potential resistance. I say potential because SPX is above. It's trending up. We're bullish on the day. So bullish means higher prices. We'll find a trade. Tomorrow, more than likely, we'll find one. We'll find one tomorrow. Also, if you look at NZD, something that I was just looking at on the other chart over here. You've got a resistance level up there, right? So that's probably what it's pushing to. So like, I mean, I understood why, simply because of demand or supply. And you did react to it yesterday by tagging it and then retracing. So like, yeah, if this was going to be a stop run, I would want to see it start to trend down now, like pretty damn soon. But it's already at the end of the day. So what you're probably going to see is you're probably just going to see this daily candle just keep pushing up and up and up until you get too close. And then tomorrow you'll be into resistance. But we can't get long that because it'll be into resistance. But you're trending higher. Your moving averages are showing you that you're going higher. There's your 200 at simple and 200 exponential down there. And you're above the 21. Like, good above it. This is the third day you've been above it. And we typically don't try to short that. These are the ones we look to get long. And since it's a small range day, since it's only been trading inside all day, you had plenty of areas or plenty of places to look for the long. Yesterday's close, for instance. See how these jagged candles just trading in and around, up and down, up and down, up and down. Intraday support was there. This would have been the opportunity. Or the London session. But you got stopped out right there. Probably. Bitcoin trading up into resistance. I mean, if you can find me a crypto that looks like a short, I will look for it and we'll see what's what. But as long as Bitcoin's going up, it's going to look like most of them will. Yeah, you got a couple down here that are red. Compound's red on the day. But it's just a pullback day. It's into daily resistance, old daily resistance. So it might be a buy. Or down here was a buy. Daily resistance, go intraday. Look how daily resistance is here. Support there. Even right now, this traded down into support. Right there. And now you're back up there. So resistance currently on this is here. Very small range day. But you're bearish. This is your open. Right there. The open is all the way up there. You got a little tiny wick above the open, and then it's just been down for the majority of the day. So, if anything, this one would be one to short. Not Bitcoin. Just because this one's weak today. So 65,200. I don't even know if we can trade that. Let me type in comp. There it is on Bitget. So we could potentially take a short on Bitget on compound because it's down on the day. If Bitcoin keeps pushing up, this will too. But if Bitcoin's going to roll over at resistance, this one is better for the short. And it's the one that's down the most out of all of these. I know there's a ton more cryptos. Let me see. OPUST is down 6%. This one's down 6% on the day. Let's look at this. Well, according to this, it's bullish on the day. But on KuCoin or on Bitget, it says it's down 6%. Whereas Bitget. Can I get a Bitget? See? That's what it is. It's Bitget's exchange just does it different. See, on coin or on the other exchange, this is green on the day, but on Bitget it's down. Just by changing exchanges changes the candle. But I'm just saying, like, if you're looking to short something, look to short something that's weak on the day. And we know comp is red on the day. So, and this one's red on the day. And then the rest of them, let me see here. Just because they're different candles, because the exchange has their candles open differently at different times. That's why. Rose USDT is down 3.4%. OPU looks to be down the most. TRB USDT is down almost 5%. But yeah, if you're gonna short something that is showing weakness on the day. You're sideways. You got a nice run up here, setting a new high of day, and you're pulling off, right? So I mean, there's no setup here. But on compound, you have a current setup right now, staring you in the face, right there. This is your target to take profits. That is your target to take profits, and it might have already happened, so you got something even easy to show you your risk. Right there's your risk. It's a 3-to-1 risk to reward. Getting short compound. I know this isn't going to have much liquidity in the 5-minute. It doesn't look like that on Bitget though. On Bitget, it's real good candles. So I would just watch the hourly. We'll keep compound over here. Let's go back to the Bitcoin. But definitely that's the way you want to look at it, about as far as going short something. But still, at the same time, if Bitcoin continues to go higher, then you're likely going to see compound go higher as well. But instead of taking a chance and shorting Bitcoin, knowing that it's strong and bullish on the day, you can take a trade on the other thing. Are we bearish or bullish today? Well, Bitcoin is bullish on the day. It's up 3%. We just looked at compound for a short trade. And it's right here. It's lined up. And that's the trade. Right there was your entry. That's your stop. 3 to 1. Well, 2.94 to 1. Ethereum pushed right up into the hourly. See that? And see the reaction? That's what you're looking for. Same thing on Compound. Pushed right up into the entry. Now you're getting that reaction. But I was trying to get a 5-minute chart on ETH, to be honest with you. So here you go. That's your hourly resistance. Look at this. Boom. So that's where you would have had a short limit order setting right there. If you were wanting to short it. But remember, it's bullish on the day as well. If you want to take a short on Bitcoin and it's bullish on the day, you got to find another crypto that is bearish and short that one instead. Ethereum Classics up 13.25% on the day. 13%. Trying to see which one is the biggest runner. According to Bitget, Ethereum Classic is the biggest runner today. We got a couple at 5 and 6%. Audio USDT's up 7%. Flow USDT's up another 7%. Let me go to look at Flow, because someone asked me to look at this yesterday. It's just now up that much. This thing's been rocking and rolling for whatever reason last couple days. Looks like Bitcoin, look at that. Boom! That's when we last looked at it, ain't it? Because we were looking at a big bullish day. It had to be that day. So last week we looked at this. Today it's moving. Can I look at Mara? Absolutely. We'll look at whatever you want to look at. Oh, Mara's not a... I almost put in USD. Mara USD. Yeah, it's up on the day. It's gapping up. It's because of Bitcoin. Mara and Riot are both mining operations now. So they typically do whatever Bitcoin does. Look at the low that this thing made and look how fast it reacted from the lows. I'm telling you guys, there's a good chance that the low is in. That the low is in. Not guaranteed, but obviously there's a good chance. That's a really good level. I think that's a weekly. And it's coming into it. Let's go look at what that level is. No, it's nothing. It is nothing. There's your... That was support until you broke down. You're into that now. It had a reaction here 1 week. Yeah. It's been looking good. You've been up for 6 straight weeks on Mara. SPX, looking like it's slowing down a little bit. A little bit. Bitcoin there. We're keeping Compound up because we want to see it hit targets. But yeah, it looks good. There's really nowhere, I could look to buy it on the weekly, so let's look to where we could be a buyer on Mara on the daily. Obviously, 1443 might be a good spot to look for potential bullish entries on Mara. Next one would be down there at $12. Right? These two first. See what happens there. All right. That is Mara. Long, sand, and near. Your long, sand, and near. Huh? Sand, USDT. I just type in the T because it gets rid of that calculated by trading view. All right, so Compound is at last hour's close, and that can act as support, or likely will act as support. Sand, you're long. I don't know where you're long from. You're currently red on the day, so Sand did not break out. Sand stalling out at resistance. $1.34 is resistance. Please tell me you're not long above that. If you're long down in here, awesome. You're still in good shape because you haven't taken out the midpoint of that bullish candle yet. So even though it's red on the day, it's not terribly red, right? Not terribly red. What was the other one? Sand and what? Near. And this is based off of, I don't know why you. Near looks great. This looks bullish as can be. You're into resistance, hence the pullback you're getting today. But at the same time, I mean, it looks fantastic. This is a good bullish chart. Here was your breakout, right? See how many wicks tried to get above that? Couldn't. Wick, breakout. Boom. Then you had one day of a pullback, and boom. That's what I want to see Bitcoin do. Right? This is what we want to see Bitcoin do. This looks good. Today, you're no sweat. It's just a pullback day just because you're into resistance. Levels to, or a new level to potentially level up again, $5.36. If it pulls back down to there, see if that holds its support. Comp pushing down to our target. Theta. Are you still bullish on Bitcoin even if it tagged and got rejected from the hourly support? I'm not looking to get long on Bitcoin at the high of day. But my overall bias on Bitcoin is bullish, and it has been for 7 weeks, right? We've been looking to buy support. That's how we've been trying to play Bitcoin. Well, we don't want to short it because it's bullish, but we do want to wait for the pullbacks into support to get long. So, I mean, if you were going to short it, that would have been the place to short it, but I don't suggest you short something that is strong on the day. You do what we did. You go find one that is weak, and then you find resistance, and this one's just so happened to be right into resistance for us, and now you're seeing it push down to our target. Right? Theta. I'm just going to pull it up on versus Tether because it looks identical to the dollar chart. Same thing on Theta. It looks kind of like not near, but the other one, Sand, it's struggling at resistance. You did get a nice breakout day here, and then look exactly what happened the next 2 days. Pulled back, took out the low. Yesterday you had a bullish day, but I mean, as long as you're trading under $1.66, I could see this thing going lower. Right? It's more than likely going to follow Bitcoin, and it has been bullish since it's, broken out over here, but it hasn't really been able to get anything going above $1.66. And the longer it stays under $1.66, the more, the better it starts to look over time for short entries. Shit, this is the wrong chart. Let me pull it up here because I don't have nothing down there. Oh shit, I did that wrong. RSI, you're above the 50. So as long as support holds, it's got to hold at 152 in order to remain bullish. If you lose that, then you're going to be back under the 50. The Stokes has already crossed back to the downside. And it, you could see that it didn't get any momentum going hardly at all. Wait, this is on the hourly. Damn it, I'm looking at this freaking candles. Yeah, you're above the 50 on the RSI. You're overbought on Stokes. Stokes still crossing down to the downside. So you might be running out of steam. So look for support 151 if it pulls back. I did check Sand and Near, bro. I did check it. I just looked at both of them. Yeah, hard to buy dips here for the upside. It is because you're at the very top of the range. I mean, Bollinger Bands, everything says this isn't a buy right now. Right? Nice breakout above that pitchfork. That line. But if we just, I don't think Bollinger Band's over here. It's not here. Let me just put it on there. There we go. See, you're at the top of the Bollinger Bands. You're at the top of everything. So, like, buying it up there doesn't make no damn sense. But if we get a pullback down into, down here, we'll see how it reacts when it gets there. Maybe buy it there. Currently, the levels that we're going to watch intraday on Bitcoin for, like, potential support, we won't know if it's support until it gets there and then acts as support. But those two levels are here. I'll show you. First level is here. Second level is here. And that's also, like, if you do your fib retracement tool on just today's range, your 618 and 50% retracements are right here too, in these areas. So you have a little bit of confluence down here, and so we want to see what happens if price gets down here. Does either one of these two places act as support? Comp is back up. Bitcoin keeps rolling over. This will too, though. Getting ready to be green again on the hourly. USD/JPY, yeah. So we shorted USD/JPY. We were looking for dollar to top out. So up here is where we got short, and then it rolled over, and it was a nice trade. I have closed that trade out, but we were looking for re-entries at old weekly support. What happened? Oh, it's a different exchange. Here. So that's where we were looking for it to be shorted again. And you can see that it stayed up there for about 4 days, but it did roll over yesterday. So now, I don't want to see it get back up there. If you're going to look for new shorts, maybe there. Maybe. All right. Maybe there. Bitcoin is still rolling over, but comp is getting a bid for whatever reason. Getting a little pop. How often are you checking FinViz on average trading day? I don't have to. I do it sometimes, to show people if I'm like trying to make a point, but I don't look at it. I look at this over here. I look at the percent change on the day. So just by looking at that, I know what is the strongest and weakest assets of the day. Because generally what I do to start the day when I get to my computer desk here, I'll pull up my Forex and I'll just give it a random scroll like that. Look at all the percent changes, and then boom, I know which one's strongest on the day. So I don't hardly ever look at FinViz, but you can. It's a free tool, right there. It's free, right? And it shows you. And NZD is the strongest currency pair or currency on the day. So looking to short it, not so good. USD is the weakest on the day. So yeah, it's a good little tool and it's free. Can't beat that. I've been seeing new lows of the week and month on Aussie and NZD pairs on Thursday and on 8/11. Yeah, but they're strong. They're strong today, and they're both bullish again. Let's look at NZD USD specifically. You're strong. You're up above the 50 on the RSI, and you're up above the 21. Big, strong boost there. And that got you above stuff. So now you're going to be looking to buy swing lows. The 21 essentially has been caressing price. There was the first day you closed under it, but the next day you closed right back above it. Boom, breakout to the upside. So even though they were weak, they are not anymore. If you're on a daily time frame and you're above the 50, the RSI, you're in bullish control. The bulls have control of the asset. So when you have that, what you're looking for moving forward will be pullbacks. Like, we don't have nothing to gauge a trend by now, but you might, right? Eventually you get a few days of up and then you come back in. You want to buy the swing low somewhere and look for another expansion up. Right back up to the entry, and Bitcoin's pulling back. That don't make much sense. And this asset's right on the day. Quit acting a fool. Get your ass down there. Get your butt down there. See how I said when it got to here, this could and likely would act as support? It did that quick. That quick. Bitcoin's pushing lower. SPX is still pushing higher. It might have topped out. So we might have a high of day on the SPX, and that's probably likely going to be the high of day on Bitcoin. Once again, hourly resistance remains supreme and remains still your better entries for any shorts or long trades, right? We took the same trade here on comp. When we pushed up into hourly resistance, that's our entry. This bullish candle's high is our stop. And we're just looking for this low to take profits. And Bitcoin is at that same candle's low right now. So like essentially what I was looking for is this same thing to play out here. And this one is bearish on the day. So it's already showing weakness just from being bearish today. It's likely going to push down into targets. It just came back up and gave you another chance to short it is all. Excuse me. I was kind of hoping it would already hit targets. That way we could wrap this up. I've been going for a couple hours. But it is what it is. It helps people learn, right? That's why I'm doing it. Been seeing... Oh, I read that, sorry. On Thursday and 8/11. Let me read that again. Been seeing new lows of week on NZD. Bitcoin's coming off now, so it's only a matter of time before our target is hit on comp. We're actually lower. There it is. I was getting ready to say, on Bitget, it's already lower than it made it the first time. And then, if you took the trade, you just simply move your stop to break even, take profits. And then if you're going to see more downside continuation, just leave it on, right? Leave it on. You have zero risk. Zero. Something interesting on Bitget, on comp USD, you can only do up to 50x leverage. While on Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can go as high as 125x. On comp, you can only go up to 50x. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, you haven't closed. Tomorrow will be the weekly close. If you close above the weekly 21, that's not bearish anymore, right? Not bearish anymore. So I don't know why this isn't lit up. Like, it hit the entry even and rolled back over. So I don't know why that didn't light up to show us our position. That's the wrong one. This one. Oh, that's why. This 5-minute candle didn't push up to it. so it didn't highlight it. It's a very small range trade, but it's very easy to manage risk off, right? We had a clear and obvious place to set our stop. We had a clear and obvious place for entry. They even give you a second chance there. On Bitget, it went well above that. On Bitget, it went well above that. It looks different, though. Bitcoin pushing down too. This was our original take profit when we set the short up for the high of day, remember? We set that short up. That was what it looked like, but we would have almost gotten stopped out. You didn't get stopped out, but you almost would have. But now you're in there. So if you did take that trade, take profits now, move your stops to break even. How much profit you take is up to you. The whole idea is to take more than half. That way you pay yourself for taking the risk and then get your risk off the table. Get it gone, completely gone. And then you can just sit in it and see what happens, right? That's the best way to try to get continuation trades. By taking them with such a small stop, it allows you to take a big position for that original position. So that way, if you do take off 2/3 of the position, you're still in the trade with a decent size. With zero risk. Push down so we can take profits, get out of this. I hate setting in a trade with risk out there because you can get random, we call them random market violence, wicks. Just a big nasty wick. On the hourly, that is hourly support or close to it. Moving on down. Get down there. So this is where I want to see Bitcoin hold support, or here, down here. One of these two areas. I wouldn't suggest getting long in front of this just, right now, because today looked a little bit, it didn't have as much momentum as I figured it would have today, to be honest with you. SPX's bullish momentum was decent. This is a legit breakout. That's your weekly resistance there. I keep doing that. Well, no, it ain't. There is your weekly resistance. Down there's your weekly resistance. So you're well above it, which is nice. That's a good, nice looking weekly candle. Right? It's bigger than last week's, and we're well above it. Last week's high even. So not bad. That's what you want to see for bullish continuation. Now if we get a big nasty next week down candle, then that's going to look like a trap. And we'll look to short it. If that happens. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Looks like comp's going to play games. It's not going to go down there and take us out of the trade. So we're still in it with random market violence happening across the board. We'll see how this one plays out. You guys have a fantastic day. I will be in the office for the majority of today, so if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I do read them all, every single one, and for everybody else, you know where to reach me. You guys have a fantastic day. Make sure you trade safe, make sure you trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.